Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sales Development Podcast. I'm running a series right now called CEOs in Sales Technology, and I am honored to have the next guest on the show. Wissam Tabbara is the founder and CEO of Truebase. Wissam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, David. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. We're so excited about the various technologies that are being developed for sales professionals, marketing professionals, SDRs, everyone in the go-to-market space. And you definitely caught my eye on the project that you're working on right now with Truebase. How did you get involved with this company, and what problem are you solving with Truebase?
Yeah, David. Well, it's one of those things that started like to be a problem for me, and just kind of to really help understand the problem here is like I've been third-time founder right now. So as you know, as a founder, you're always doing three things. You're looking for investors, looking for customers, or looking for hires. So I found myself on LinkedIn, and I'm a technologist at heart. I still code till today, and I'm like running all these Boolean searches and clicking next for hours and going through each profile one by one, and just things felt very, very unproductive, just like very time consuming. So. Just being a technologist, I end up building a little bit of my own tool set over time. And slowly it kind of, when the stars aligned and it's time to think about something new, I start kind of asking around. I'm like, hey, how do salespeople do this? How do recruiters do this? And apparently this is kind of the norm. And there's a lot of like similar tools to fill up the top of the funnel or discover new business and it feels it's all was very time consuming. So that's when I start like a little bit tinkering with the idea. And, we started Truebase 2 years ago. We were more in the recruiting space. So we gain a lot of knowledge in acquiring data in real time at scale. And then generative AI, as of December, kind of came on the picture in a very heavy way. So we integrated that. And since then, so Truebase today help you filling up the top of the funnel with the help of generative AI.
Yeah, and take me back because this sounds very familiar. So you were clicking, running all these searches. What was the friction that you were facing there? Because this sounds very familiar. I think I spend time doing this every day.
Well, so there's few issues. Like, for example, let's assume you're looking for somebody who is working with AWS and their profile, right? Like, as you know, LinkedIn is very keyword specific, right? So, and if I want to write AWS or Amazon Web Services, well, think I'm gonna like right now do an or statement, but I don't want Amazon, the marketplace, but definitely don't want Amazon the jungle. So I start like, if you start when I'm thinking about that, like multiple ways to describe something, and like you can go as far as you can with like the Boolean searches, like the and the or of the world, but you hit the limit, and the rest is on you to go one by one, right? So this is just a simple example. Another one is actually as simple as it sounds. Like if you are targeting B2B companies, let's say on LinkedIn, well, your search is really limited to who describe themselves as a B2B company. So if you're targeting a company that whenever they created their profile, they didn't say we are a B2B company. And guess what? Most people won't, because that's not how they think of themselves. And now it's left on you to go figure out like what is B2B, what's all of that. So it just felt like there is a very large database of profiles, and they left it on us users to go really and make sense of it and able to search it a little better. And that felt like what's really time consuming for me to really get, land quickly. Here are the leads, the candidates that I'm really interested in talking to. And that's just the beginning of the pain point. There's many others as well.
Sure. Well, I think most people on the call have lived with
They're
some
nodding.
version of that. I mean, it's amazing that, in talking with SDRs mostly, but also, inside sales reps, a lot of the day is searching and combing through, mostly LinkedIn, combing through this information to try to find that, diamond in the rough that you can then reach out to, and they may or may not, reply, but at least you know that you've got the right person. It's a lot of research and digging through this material that ends up spending a lot of the day. And you've got a very highly compensated SDR. I mean, they're not inexpensive to have somebody doing that all day. So by implementing Truebase, how do you speed up that process so that you can, find that diamond in the rough?
Right. Well, so Truebase, the way we think about it, will take you through prospecting journey much faster, right? So if you think of the prospecting journey as this account discovery, and then qualification, and then contact enrichment, and then personalization, and then engagement, right? So those are the 5 steps of prospecting journey. At each step, we apply AI, and more specifically generative AI, to speed it up, right? So I'll give you an example. So let's say to qualify a company. Well, most companies have, if they build their ideal customer profile properly, they usually have 5 to 8 questions that they're usually trying to answer. So before you start reaching out at scale, you want to make sure you're reaching from prioritized list, so you can make the most impact. Well, to do that properly, it might take you 2 to 5, sometimes 10 minutes to just answer those questions, those qualification questions, and then you can apply a scoring mechanism and all of that around it. Well, that's very time consuming, because now you discover an account, you have to go scout the internet, look at their website, look on Crunchbase, look, a bunch of other areas. You have to go hunt the information rather than, where you're really trying to answer a simple question. So Truebase, for example, in real time, go scout the internet for you, and will answer your question for you by yes, no, I don't know, and will build the score for you, right? That was not possible before, or without the help of generative AI, right? So we kind of really optimize this to make that happen, so you can speed up or work more efficiently as an SDR or as an inside sales to really make your work happen more efficiently.
And so, because every SDR, well, not every SDR, most SDRs, each one has a different set of accounts and prospects that they're looking for. And then within that cohort, there's certain people that might actually be open to having a conversation. And there's so much research that goes into, pinpointing that down to the point where they've got a conversation. How, at a high level, for non-technical people, how does Truebase help through AI to, comb through all that information to pinpoint that?
Right. Well, there's many pieces that come together, but let's kind of describe it in a simple use case. So one of our customers, for example, they have a pricing platform. They help companies, basically submit offers, and one of their main qualification point is this a subscription service? In the company they're targeting, are they subscription service? And do they have a tier-based subscription, right? So think of that as one qualification questions. Well, it's very hard to do that today if you're using LinkedIn or any other services. Why? Because the data you're searching with are really bound to their profile. So David, if you went and created, your Tenbound LinkedIn profile, whatever you declared on the LinkedIn profile, that's really where it ends, right? So that's the limit of your search. So which I might or might not find what I'm looking for. Truebase does it take it a little bit a step further. So we don't only look at your LinkedIn profile, but we also look on your website, and we look on other articles and publications. We look on job descriptions. So the data is all over the internet, right? And now we bring it together. So that's one part of the technology that plays a role in this. Now that we brought in your price page individually, your about us page, your homepage, we're able to extract topics, right? We say, well, they're talking about subscription as a tier subscription, and we're able to answer your questions more efficiently by doing all of that together.
Mm-hmm. So it could also not only parse through all this information to find the right prospects, but then also give you some information to be able to open the conversation and start talking to them about their.
Yeah, so that's another thing. That's ability right now to personalize. And when I say personalize, you can think of it from, devising a cold outreach, but it could also be more than that, right? So if I, like most companies and most like savvy salespeople, they have their main pitch. Here are the main key points. And the good one, they will not dump the whole pitch on you because, they kind of try to understand what are your possible objections. And if they've done their good job, they're listening. And as they go, they are catering that pitch, obviously, to your needs, right? So now to do that in personalization in a cold outreach, that's very time consuming, right? So obviously, if you're targeting, let's say, VP of people in a smaller company, they have a different problem and different objections than the one with the larger companies, right? And now they're in one industry versus the other. So tailoring one personalization on all these segments, you end up coming with a lot of segments, and to personalize those on one-to-one, that's a lot of work. That's repetitive work, right? So now another use case where you can really rely on the machine to do that with all the parameters that you set up to really be able to generate a personalized sequence on one-to-one basis. This was never possible before without such a technology that's available today.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I see a lot of SDRs and salespeople really struggling with this because on one end, you need to be sending out a lot of messages just to be able to cast the net wide enough to reach somebody that has a pain point that you could potentially help. So you have to have volume, but at the same time, if it's not personalized and it's not relevant, then 99.9% of it is just going to go to spam. So it's a real conundrum, that you need the volume, but yet you need the personalization too. And I think a lot of SDRs especially struggle with that.
100%. And actually, it's a very, very challenging time right now for SDRs. So 2 to 3 years ago, even more, like in the last 5 years, sales automation exploded, right? So amazing company like Outreach, SalesLoft, Reply.io, and many others. Yeah. It's almost became a commodity, right? Like here, put your credit card, charge, under $100, and here you are hitting the ground running, and you're able to send hundreds of emails on a weekly basis, right? So now, few things change with that. Recipients are getting more emails than ever. Yeah. Spam filters are smarter than ever, right? The noise to signal ratio is also really challenging. Right. So, and everybody's doing it, right? Everybody, like I'll tell you, as a founder and CEO of a company that's funded, my inbox, I said every day, I'm like going through a lot of cold outreach emails. Everybody's trying to sell me something, right? Mm-hmm. And it almost doesn't cost much to send a lot of outreach on weekly basis, right? To make things harder, downturn economy, the activity metrics are really challenging and high, right? Especially with a lot of budget shrinking, size of the team shrinking. Like there's a lot of pressure, real pressure to get this out. So that's why you get this 1% response rate. Very challenging time, right? Mm-hmm. Where now it feels like we're kind of almost, okay, well, we figure out we can send a lot of emails, but it's not working, right? So how do you make it work? It's actually you come back to the basics. First of all, did you really narrow down your ICPs, right? Do you understand who's buying from you? And that's on you. That's a human process, right? And now, are you qualifying, right? Because at the end of the day, yes, you can send 1,000, right? Some of them might end up in spam, but send a selected 100, right? That's way more powerful, right? If they're very well qualified and if they're very well personalized, right? And now if you're able to do that at scale, you are golden, right? Because now you're really having high level qualification and personalization at scale. Then that's where really things start mattering for you.
Yeah, that's the golden, the
That's the
golden
golden,
outcome
yeah,
at the end of
right.
the rainbow. But it's so true. And I'm just curious, as a founder, and just flipping the subject a little bit, as a founder, you're getting inundated with emails. Some are good, some are not. And what's your process in potentially buying a piece of software or a solution that you're looking for? Because I'm sure that you've got a lot of problems, just like everybody else, that you're trying to solve. Do you ever reply to an email, or do you have a completely different process in trying to figure that out?
Yeah. Well, David, like as busy as it is, half of the software probably we bought came from cold outreach, right?
Okay.
And so I know it does work. I will tell you another thing. I'm one of those people that I like my zero inbox on daily basis, right? So I am really I'm quickly scanning and reading.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time I had this amazing moment. So we are running a remote only company, and I had few top of mind problems, right? Like sending monies overseas to employees, right? Where few hit me, and it was like exactly the right pain point. And I'm like you mentioned about people nodding when they're hearing this. I was like nodding when I was reading the cold outreach, right? So if you really, that's kind of like almost the reaction you want, right? And some of them didn't turn out to be like, hey, let's connect again later, because I know it's something that down the line that we will be able to use. So I'm not saying it doesn't work; it does work, but if we do our job and you truly qualified and the message you believe that the recipient will see value in that, that will improve your sales and will have high impact on what you do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and all of this for SDRs, who are earlier in their career, everything that you're learning can be helpful for becoming a sales rep and becoming a sales leader, later in the career. The basics of understanding the ICP and the personas and the pain points, and really becoming an expert on those. And I like to tell people that prospecting is kind of like fly fishing, in that you have to be really skillful in laying down the right fly right on the top of the water, right at the right time. And if the fish are hungry, they're going to bite it. but you can't just be sloppy in it. Or what we've seen over the last couple of years, to take the analogy, is just throw a stick of dynamite in the river and blow up everything and collect the fish, because it's all gone now. So
I like that analogy. Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So it's good. So Wissam, what are you excited about right now? Is there any new releases or new solution that's coming out, or is there some traction that you're seeing that's got the wind in your sails?
Yeah, I'm assuming from Truebase perspective. Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, I think Truebase is one of the many, there is few solutions out there as well that are really kind of creating this new categories of, Gen AI sales, right? And I like, with all these solutions out there, they're all at its infancy right now. So Truebase has been working with stealth mode with like 20 plus customers. We are so excited that we're turning on self-serve soon. So we're kind of having a public launch at the end of the month planned. So that's definitely keep us very excited. But I'm also really excited as a founder. So we integrated Gen AI in almost everything we do, from inbound, outbound, to customizing pitch and presentations, to a lot more. So that's kind of like really making us a small team way more productive by adopting Gen AI in all our processes. So that's been super helpful for us as well.
Yeah, and so you're actually drinking your own champagne, it sounds
We are,
like.
that's how we're learning. I figured out that's the best way to learn by doing.
Big time. Yeah. And it's interesting that you're defining that category because at Tenbound, we put together the market map for sales technology. And the one that we have now is from last November, December, and it's completely outdated now. And we need a new category for, integrating all the AI. So thing number one is be sure to list Truebase in the Tenbound directory, which is on the Tenbound website. So we get it in there. And then thing number two is we got to make sure that we've got that category defined and Truebase is included.
Yeah, sounds good. I was just checking before the call. I think we are there, but it feels the information is a little outdated from a few months ago when we did that. So I took note for my team to go and update that.
Beautiful, perfect. That's what we're doing. And I'll tell you, I've been so interested in sales technology for so long. I made the directory so that we could start to categorize and organize this information because it's all over the place. And I appreciate you getting involved on that. And thank you for coming on the show today.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. And if we want to get in touch with you, if we want to try the new self-service product when it's coming out, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on truebase.io. I am on the About page, Wissam Tabbara, or I'm very active on LinkedIn, Wissam Tabbara, WISSAM TABBARA. My handle is my first name, last name, one word. Please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. I like criticism as much as I like good feedback. So please reach out.
It's just as important. And I just sent you a connect request. So I'll see you on LinkedIn. Thanks for coming on.
Sounds good. Thank you, David.